Hello, I'm Mike Gordon, and welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Tecmo Super Bowl for the Sega Genesis. And of course, we continue to obliterate every team that comes our way. We completely shut down Barry Sanders last time, so now we're taking on the LA Rams. Let's do this. Now, for what it's worth, I'm not quite sure what this team specializes in offensively speaking. So bear with me for a bit. Let's see. Based on everything I see here, I should probably go Thompson down. Okay. Alright, we forced a fumble. Great. Alright, let's try catch this in quickly. And that's a touchdown, Novacek. Alright. Let's go. And now, the kick is up. And let's see it. It is good. 7-0 right off the bat. So what we need to do is we have to hone in on lanes so that way even if they go a different way from intended, we can still slow this offense down. So this has a pretty dynamic playbook. Ah, shit. Come on, you fucking turned the ball over. Well, it's a touchdown for the Rams to make it 7-all. This is going to be quite interesting if things keep going on like this. 2 fumbles, both returned immediately for scores. Almost, or at least almost immediately. Alright, and now we got another deep pass, this time to Michael Irvin. Oh, wow! Emmitt Smith ran it in for a touchdown. Wow. That defense didn't stand a chance, man. Alright, kick us up, it's good. Can our defense continue to put the foot down on the Rams' offense? This is definitely a tricky offense to try to shut down or slow down or whatever. Let's see, yeah, that's... So we need to figure this out, man. Alright, there's only so many pathways that each defense can go. So, alright, that's another turnover that we were able to force. And that's a first down at Harper. And let's go up north. Let's do this play now. And that's a touchdown pass in Novacek to close out the quarter, making it 21-7. Oh wait, we still have 2 seconds left. All right. Let's go, yeah, we have to shut down their running game. This is a very complex offense to sort out. Shit. At least it was incomplete. Alright, Alright, another a 3 and out. This time don't fumble the punt. Oh, it's probably gonna be a touchback. No! They pinned us good. Alright. Alright, Emmitt Smith, don't turn the ball over. Alright, that is a first down. Yeah, I'm gonna try to throw another pass. Look at here. We ran all the way to the 10-yard line, to the opponent's 10-yard line. That is insane. Novacek is balling out, man. And Emmitt Smith punches in for another touchdown, making it 28-7. Man, this is getting really boring. I mean, let's be honest, the Cowboys are so freaking awesome, man. It's so awesome that it's boring. I've only had 1, maybe 2 games of the Cowboys that were even remotely competitive. Some sparks of drama here and there, but every single opponent that we played against has basically been getting absolutely destroyed. Alright, god damn it. Well, we're blowing them out 28-7. Well, harm what is a first down gonna do to our winning chances? All right. We sacked. I think Jim Everett is the quarterback's name. And Ken Norman gets the enforced sack of his own, and now they have to punt it. And you know what? I think we're going to try icing this game soon. Shit, I held on to the ball for too long. I got a little greedy. Alright, let's go. Another deep pass. Let's go this play. I mean, that's probably... Yeah, that was stupid of me. Well, at least he denied them points. 242 yards passing. Jesus freaking Christ. Alright. What the hell? I thought for sure that I was gonna run it into the end kick, return that for a touchdown. That'd be our first on Tecmo's Super Bowl. From now on, provided Smith doesn't fumble the ball a lot, this should probably be our last. We'll probably just be handing the ball off to him the rest of the way. Oh, they're blitzing the gut, huh? Alright, Alright, whatever you say. I'm gonna... Now I got a first down. Remember, my objective now is basically just burn clock so I could end this game faster. I'm gonna run up the gut, and we got it in. And now make it 35-7. And now I don't really care much about the Rams. I just have to slow them down. Their offense down a bit. So I'm going to shift gears towards stopping the pass because I no longer care about the run. Let's see. You see, I really love this one. Yeah, the best part is there's no shotgun. They don't have any shotgun play, so I don't have to worry about that. And we forced a 3 and out. Alright. Alright, let's go. Wow, minus 8 yards. Wow. That was stupid. Shit! God damn it, Michael Irvin. Alright. They have to throw the ball. Alright, let's go. You know what, they'll Alright, good. They're not attempting to run it? Okay. Alright, they need, they have to reach the end zone. And now we finally get to make atonement for your, fumbling the ball, Michael Irvin. Alright, I think we've already got this game locked up, so I'm just gonna run it. Over and over. I don't even care if I actually make it to the end zone. I'm just gonna run it. I mean, their defense is weak as shit. And Smith just keeps plowing through them. Alright, that was a little... Oh, wait, they're not going for the touchback. They're gonna try running it. Alright. 42-7. They have... The chances of them winning is 0. I don't even care if you get some yard... Wow, your running attack is weak, man. Russell Maryland gets another sack. And it's a safety. So now they have to go onside. So, good. We're just gonna keep running it. Run, run, run. That's all there is to do. And we got another first down to Novacek. Alright. Let's keep going. Alright. Now we just have to get them to burn all their timeouts. And we got a bonus touchdown for good measure. We're gonna win big here, 51-7. Jesus freaking Christ. Now, why don't I just skip the rest of the season if I'm so bored? Because I'm trying to get the Cowboys to a perfect season, that's all. Alright. Now they have to burn their final timeout, and it's another sack. Jesus freaking Christ, this team sucks. And in spite of deep first down throw, it's still 4 and out. So turnover on downs. That's alright, Emmett. You done your job. And final touchdown to Novacek. Alright. And now I need to burn the final 11 seconds. Wow, I missed the PAT. I'm not gonna help my there. 57-7. Absolute annihilation of the LA Rams. Alright. I'm going to skip ahead to Thanksgiving weekend. Where we will actually get the late game. Colts win. Niners win. Eagles win. Cardinals win. Chargers win. Raiders win. Tie. Giants win. Dolphins win. Bills win. Vikings win. And what's the records looking like right now? 8-3 in Buffalo, 6-4 in Miami, Indiana, and the Jets. The Houston Oilers are 8-2. They're going to win their division for sure. All the Steelers are 5-5. The Bengals are 4-6, and the defending Super Bowl champions, who actually went undefeated the previous year, are 4-7. And the AFC West is basically a free-for-all right now. And in the NFC West, we've got the Niners with a 1-game lead and clean head-to-head over the Saints. The Falcons are 5-6. The Rams are 2-8. Vikings have a commanding. They're about to clinch their division title real soon, 8-3. I think they will need a win and some losses from the Pack. Wait a minute. Yeah, the Chiefs had a tie, 3-6-1. Is that the Vikings literally have a two. They will need a win and losses from the Packers and Lions to clinch their division, and they're gonna clinch it. And we can clinch our division with a win and with either a win or a Cardinals loss. Yes, we are going to clinch we will for sure be clinching the NFC East next time. So, before we sign out, let's look over my predictions. I've made some changes. But, yeah, let's talk about them. Now, I actually decided to just tell you straight up what I think my locks are. The Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans, I think for sure are going to win this weekend. I think Detroit is light years better than Jacksonville, and I think and I think the Cowboys are in free fall, and it's not much of a home field advantage anyways. Near locks, or games that probably should be locks on paper, would be the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, LA Rams, Buffalo Bills, and LA Chargers. I think the Packers, and let's start from the top. I think the Packers, by all accounts, should be a much better team than the Bears. The Bears are in free fall. But I can't really look past But I honestly have a hunch that the Green Bay Packers are basically facing an uphill battle. I just have this hunch that they've been overachieving this whole time. And the Minnesota Vikings played terribly against the Jacksonville Jaguars and barely escaped with a win 12-7. That was pathetic. And if they play like that against Tennessee, I would not be surprised if Tennessee takes it. But I do think they are the on-paper favorites, and it makes perfect sense to pick them. The Miami Dolphins, based on last week's performance and where the Raiders are currently, it makes sense to think that the Dolphins should win this game. Especially since we're talking about East Coast versus West Coast, the home teams are typically favorites. I don't know. Let's wait and see. The Dolphins have been terrible most of the years, but they got Tua back. Let's see how things playing out. The LA Rams at the New England Patriots. It's actually kind of I honestly am using the coastal thing as well as how terribly the Rams played against the Dolphins last night. For the main reasons why the Rams are only the on-paper favorites here. I mean, if they can lay an egg against the Jets, they can probably lay an egg against the Patriots. And I'm going to skip the Buffalo Bills for now. I'll explain my reasons why in a bit. LA Chargers are on the paper favorite over the Bengals, but the Bengals just play every team tough. Pretty much the one thing holding them back is their complete lack of a defense, and the fact that they've been pigeonholed to an 0-3 start that they've yet to claw out their way out of. And some of the games I just sell because, well, wait, why is New England here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who do I skip over? Who's playing? All right, who's playing the Saints and who's playing the? All right, I get the New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots mixed up all the time. I think the Saints are playing the Browns. So if that's the case, then I do think that I do prefer the Saints over the Browns. I think you have to just accept the fact that Jameis Winston's a Jekyll Hyde quarterback. He's really reckless and really dangerous. So this is one of those teams. A lot of the home games I'm just picking the home teams for are literally the toss-up games. I think Washington at Philly's a toss-up. I have to sort of fall to the Eagles because they're playing really well right now. I think they have terrible coaching, which could bite them in the ass, but I don't know. The New Orleans Saints, they're using an interim head coach. They played surprisingly well last week. Let's see if that carries over here against the Browns. The Jets, I'm picking home. They also played pretty well against the LA Rams. Wait, the LA Rams played that. Who did the Jets play last week? I think it was a team that I projected to beat them, and they completely crashed and burned. There were a ton of upsets last week. But Pittsburgh, Baltimore-Pittsburgh, the rivalry is really intense, but Russell Wilson's playing exceptionally well right now. And Baltimore also has a problem with its defense. Atlanta at Denver, I think this has to be the Broncos. The Broncos have to bounce back. They lost 2 straight against Super Bowl contenders. They got blown out in 1, and they lost in heartbreaking fashion against the NFL's favorite team right now, the league's, which is the Chiefs, because the NFL wants the Chiefs to three-peat. They are doing everything in their power to ensure that they're pulling the same kind of shit that they pulled with LeBron James to try and elevate that man to GOAT status. Though I will at least give whatever. I don't know. I just have to go with the home teams here. And seeing as Seattle and San Francisco, both teams are a bit of a mess. Who am I supposed to choose, though? I basically have to default to the home teams because those are generally the safer picks at that point in time. Now, let's go to the elephant in the room. The Buffalo Bills at I think the Kansas City Chiefs are the biggest frauds right? Yes, they just secured themselves a dynasty. It is abundantly clear what is going on. The NFL is doing everything in their power to essentially bolster the Chiefs' chances at getting a three-peat. There are so many clutch, derpy ass finishes. Or let's take the Bucs game. And I'm not talking about the decision to go for the PT over the 2-point conversion, because what do you think would have happened if the Bucs actually won that coin toss and went to it? Well, we will never know because they didn't win the coin toss. The Chiefs got, and the Bucs never got the chance to run an offensive snap in overtime because overtime rules have to favor the offense. It is abundantly clear that there is extreme amounts of favoritism. They want Patrick Mahomes to displace Tom Brady as the greatest of all time. And they're literally just using. It is abundantly clear. Why? Because he's a person of color. That's it. Not only that. Well, okay. There are other reasons too. He's kind of a dual threat quarterback, but he's mostly a pocket. He has the kind of dynamic. He kind of has the dynamic strengths of say a John Elway or Steve Young, where he's mostly a pocket passer. But he is very capable of scrambling out of the pocket and getting those first downs. This isn't. And oh yeah, he has a rocket for an arm for good measure. And because of. Now, yeah, credit the Chiefs for it still. You don't win so many clutch games unless you have a really unless you have an elite defense. But I think it is abundantly clear that the NFL is letting the Chiefs defense get away with murder, essentially. They are literally turning the other cheek in at least half the defensive infractions that they probably should be getting called for, and they are doing everything I call, and they're looking for any excuse to call BS pass interference, penalties, or BS holdings, or BS rushing of passers on the other team whenever possible. You're not allowed to tackle. You're literally not allowed to tackle Patrick Mahomes. You're not allowed to show any sort of aggression against him. And because of this, a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes is literally allowed to run all over you, and you can't do a damn thing to stop it. Alright? Now, I'm not talking. Well, why don't the other NFL teams completely disown and cut off the Chiefs so that they fall apart? Well, here's the thing you have to realize. First of all, a lot of the teams dealing with trades and negotiating deals with the Chiefs are shitty teams that don't really give a shit if they're bolstering the Chiefs dynasties. They are just all they're looking about, caring about is rebuilding their teams from the ground up, or at the very least, if they're really bad owners, they just want to sell off all their best assets so they can pocket the proceeds. All under the guise of hitting the reset button and blowing it up, when really they're just flat out greedy. Like the McCaskies, Jimmy Haslam, Mike Brown, Shah Khan. Those are the biggest cheapskates on the planet, and David Tepper is both incompetent and a douchebag. Straight up. And something else I have to recognize too. How many good owners are there in the AFC? They're almost all of them are terrible. Like Jacksonville has a shitty owner that doesn't give a shit about his team. Like he actively sabotages his team's chances of winning. The Dolphins don't give a shit about have a shitty owner. He's completely lackadaisical. He doesn't really care about anything. The Jets have a shitty owner. Like, the fact that the Jets have not made a single playoff berth since 2010 should be proof enough of just how terrible the Jets' ownership is. Like, it is abundantly clear that the Jets owner either has no idea what he's doing or doesn't care. I do think he is he is the impulsive. Like he doesn't put any effort in investing to invest in the scouting department. So they basically make a bunch of boneheaded draft decisions and whatnot. You've got New England's had a decent owner, but now our Kraft is in his 90s. He's nearing the end of his life, and the Patriots are in uncharted waters that have been uncharted in over 30 years. So it is kind of easy. So it's a little easy to pardon Robert Kraft for his recent struggles, but I think he's one of the few good ones in the AFC. Actually, most owners in the NFL in general are terrible. Pro tip: make a top 10 list of the best owners in the NFL right now. If any owner is outside that top 10, then it's a terrible owner. And even then, some of the lower ranking NFL owners are not that great. They're just not terrible. So, Buffalo has a decent owner. I would not call him terrible. New England has a pretty good owner. Pittsburgh and Baltimore have really good owners. Well, okay, I would say pretty good owners. They know how to keep a stale franchise running. They just don't know how to win championships. They've completely forgotten. And as such, they've been underachieving for years. Cincinnati has a terrible owner. Cleveland has a terrible owner. Jacksonville, Houston's owner's new, so I'll give him a bit of a pass. But he's not a top 10 owner. The Texans owner. Indianapolis. Jim Irsay's a terrible owner. He's not a good. Well, he may not be bottom 5, but he's not top 10. So he's a ergo bad owner. Shad Khan is terrible. The Titans owner is terrible. And sorry, but a couple derpy playoff seasons, including a pretty good 3-year stretch, in which your Titans had overachieved when the rest of their division had been a dumpster fire, is not really anything indicative of a quality ownership right there. I think they're terrible. It's a terrible ownership there. Denver's ownership's new. They literally got their start in 2022 and had fuck all to do with the Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett fiasco. He had fuck all to do with that. So, but I would say because he's new, he is not a top 10. I will say that he's not a good owner. You have to earn your way to being a good owner. You have to build yourself up. So he's definitely not a top 10 owner. Kansas City Chiefs actually do have a. To be fair, the Chiefs do have a good owner. I'll give them that much. They do find ways to sneak in those. They've always found a way to sneak in those quality teams from 1986. Once Marty Schottenheimer came into the picture, the Chiefs continuously found ways to make it back into the playoffs. And all of this was even before Patrick Mahomes came into the picture. So they have a pretty good owner. The Raiders owner is terrible. The Chargers owner is awful. He doesn't care about the team. He doesn't care about winning. He literally fired Marty Schottenheimer following a 14-2 season. That should tell you everything you need to know about how terrible an owner Gene Spanos is. That he will literally sabotage his team just to make himself look like the better man, so to speak. Let's go Dallas. I'm going to tell you something. There was a time where you can probably name Jerry Jones a great owner, and right now he is not a good owner at all. He's basically Jimmy Haslam, but with a mostly positive track record. So what I would say is where I would rank Jerry Jones is probably around he would probably right now be either the 10th best owner or just outside the top 10. The New York Giants, terrible ownership, and those 2 Super Bowls don't count. You've got the Eagles actually do have a good owner. So yes, let's good owners. Good owners. I'm just gonna say the team owners' names. Buffalo. I will say decent, good, decent, bad. I will say Buffalo. I will say no. New England has a good owner. Buffalo has a decent owner. Because he's actually doing things that he is. I'm putting him in the decent column because he is doing what he can to try to bolster his team's chances at success. However, he hasn't succeeded. You have to win. The Bills actually need to win a couple of Super Bowls in order to get into the good column. Because Jim Irsay never made it to the good column because he only has 1 Super Bowl to his name. Bad owners are Miami, the New York, the Jets, Let's go Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Cleveland. I will put, and I'm gonna put Houston decent in the decent column for now, but I think right now I would still put the Texans just outside the top 10 owner as outside the top 10 because he hasn't accomplished much of anything yet. But his team is getting better. His teams are getting better. They're getting tougher. They're becoming a quality team again. Indianapolis has a bad ownership. Indianapolis, I'm gonna say horrible. So yeah, I'm gonna say the horrible ones are the Jets. I'm gonna say the Jets, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Jacksonville has a horrible owner, and Tennessee has a bad owner. Denver, I'm gonna put in the decent column because he hasn't really accomplished much of anything yet. And even though the Russell Wilson trade and Nathaniel Hackett hires are some of the worst in league history, that have mostly been swept under the rug thanks to the Deshaun Watson trade, as well as among other things. But guess what? That ownership had nothing to do with that. All that happened, the Nathaniel Hackett hiring and the Russell Wilson trade, both occurred before the ownership, before we got our new owner. So he had nothing to do with that. Kansas City, I'm going to put in the good tier. And by the way, this mini tier list is literally owners. So keep this in mind. Dallas Cowboys. I'm gonna put. Wait, I have to go over the rest. I'm going to say Las Vegas has a terrible owner. Mark Davis is one of the worst owners in NFL history. Dean Spanos is not as horrible as these guys, but he's definitely one of the worst owners in the NFL right now. Right now, I have to put Jerry Jones in the decent camp because he does have those 3 Super Bowl rings. He does have those super teams in the 90s. And he does continue to find ways to maintain success, but his dictatorial nature and his absolute control over that organization, his unwillingness to share credit with his coaches or permit them to exert any sort of disciplinary measures on any of the teams that would act out or do really stupid things like fumble the football or not take care of the football or blow coverages or just draw stupid penalties. There is no ability to correct any of those behaviors, and that's going to hold back Jerry Jones. So Dallas, but I have to put Jerry Jones in the decent camp. New York Giants has bad ownership. Maybe not horrible per se, but it's bad. Philly has a good ownership. But they have terrible coaches. Like, it's kind of shocking just how terrible every coach the Eagles have had since Andy Reid. And yet one of these terrible coaches has a Super Bowl ring and has also managed to coach one of the better Super Bowl teams of all time. Maybe not one of the greatest teams of all time, but a team that found. And I'm gonna put the Washington ownership in the decent camp because like Denver, like Houston, they're new. They haven't really accomplished much of anything yet. But Washington is definitely has the biggest trajectory from the bottom of the basin to being a respectable franchise again. Minnesota, I'm gonna put in the decent camp for similar reasons to why Baltimore and Pittsburgh are good. Except Minnesota never really manages to develop quality quarterbacks. Actually, what's interesting is the Vikings are the only team that consistently goes out of its way not to draft and develop any quality quarterbacks from the draft, instead opting to go the free agency route whenever possible as far as quarterbacks are concerned. So that's very interesting. I mean, they do draft quarterbacks from time to time, but most of them are just plain mediocre. Chicago, terrible ownership. Um, Detroit, I'm going to put Detroit in the decent camp. And Green Bay is also decent, even though they have no owners. New Orleans. Wait, let's go Atlanta. They've got their ownership's pretty bad. Carolina is Let's go with worst. It's Carolina. Hands down. They're not bad. David Tepper's not bad. He's not horrible. He is Hugh Culverhouse. Now I'm gonna do the Culverhouse. All right, I gotta go now. So let me just hurry up. New Orleans has a bad ownership. New Orleans is bad, has a bad ownership. Tampa Bay's never really had a good owner. I'm going to say Tampa Bay has a bad ownership. Arizona's got is a Arizona is I'm gonna go a step further and say that the Arizona Cardinals have a horrible ownership program because the Arizona Cardinals are the only team in NFL hit in the Super Bowl era to have never had a golden age. There's never been a time where the Arizona Cardinals have been consistently good or consistently great. Beyond like maybe a 2 or 3 year period. The closest thing to a golden age is Arizona from 2008 through 2015. And they still produced a 3 year window where they were god awful. And keep in mind that the Kurt Warner years were just barely above par. San Francisco, I'm going to put in the good ownership. And the Rams are in the bad ownership. Yeah, he's made some good choices, but so did Indianapolis. Generally speaking, with bad ownerships, when you stumble upon something that's good, they generally do a decent enough job trying to preserve it, but they don't really foster long-term stability. They mostly just stick with what they think works, and are quick to pull the trigger when they don't get their way. or they are go the Miami route and just get complacent with what is. And I think the Rams are an example of a bad ownership. San Francisco has a good and I'm gonna put Seattle in the bad ownership. The Seattle ownership is new, similar to Carolina, similar to Denver, similar to Washington. They all have new owners. Unlike with Carolina, Seattle's new owner is basically a result of the old owner passing away, similar to Houston, and not actually. So yeah. But so far, the Seahawks under the new ownership have not been good. They have been mediocre at best, and that's an example of bad ownership. So that's it. So sorry I kept you guys hostage for too long. I gotta go right now. Leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon, sign out.